So it's been a little bit since I've done a haul video. The last one I did kind of encompassed the end of 2023, going through my birthday, and obviously I didn't stop buying games. I've bought too many. Over the past few months, there's been a lot of personal life change for me. I started a new job, so I have a little bit more disposable income, and I wouldn't say I went crazy. I am not a spender by any stretch of the imagination. Like, that's why my, like, hauls and collections aren't like, here's 100,000 games or anything like that. I try to be pretty sparing with the money that I spend, but since getting my new job and kind of getting into this new lifestyle of that job plus still teaching and doing all my other stuff, I did kind of splurge a little bit over the past few months on new games that I've been eyeing for a really, really long time, as well as a few really cool opportunities to buy some games that just kind of fell into my lap. And that's what we're going through today. Hello everybody, my name is Alex, aka Quality, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to my carpal tunnel. We're having another unfortunate time with my wrist in recent history. Yeah, I've bought quite a few games in recent history. I won't be covering the games that I picked up during the Detroit Retro Gaming Show because I went through all of those already, but these are in addition to that, which again, I'm looking at the pile of games for various systems in front of me and I'm just like, why did I do this? I'll tell you why, because I love video games and I've been doing pretty good at making progress throughout my backlog, so I don't feel too shameful, especially because a lot of these have been kind of like games I've been looking for a really long time, especially one mystery GameCube game that I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna save it till the very end, one very mystery GameCube game that I frankly never thought I was going to be able to own. But before we get to that, we have some other more modern consoles to go through, and I want to start with the biggest pile here, which is the Nintendo Switch pile. As a lot of you know, I collect a lot of Switch games. I try to collect games that I know I'm going to play, and I am so excited to get through this entire pile of games, some of which I've already gotten through, which you'll see, but there's a lot of games in here that I've been wanting for a very, very, very long time, so I'm really excited to show them off. So first up, I kind of take us back to one of the very first games that I bought in 2024, and I've talked about them on the channel, so I'm not going to spend too long talking about them, but the very first one is Unicorn Overlord, of course. I already finished this game, I beat it, I loved it, I talked about it in a different video reviewing some games that I've already beaten, and I highly recommend this if you are into tactical RPGs. The art in this game is beautiful, the music is awesome, the story is okay. I mean, like, it's not anything too crazy, but I wasn't really expecting anything too crazy with it, but I was so excited to pick this one up, and it absolutely did not disappoint. So if you haven't gotten your hands on Unicorn Overlord yet, I really, really, really recommend it. And I mentioned this too, I think in my like review of it, is that it's a very good RPG to just kind of pick up and put down whenever you're feeling. It's really, really nice. It was a very comforting RPG to come home to in the month of March. So very happy to have this in my collection, of course. In a similar vein, we have Princess Peach Showtime. Already talked about it. I enjoyed it, but I don't really think it's the greatest game ever. This game definitely has a lot of flaws, mainly due to its inconsistency in mechanics. You have all these different costumes, which are mega cute, absolutely, but not all the levels for the costumes are consistently enjoyable, and that was one of my biggest gripes with this game, to be honest. I think if you're interested in it, I maybe pick it up, but also, like, I don't think it's worth a full-priced Switch game, if I'm being honest. Maybe wait and see if it ever goes on sale, which it probably won't, but maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to show this in Unicorn Overlord off again, just to keep the continuity of these haul videos going, you know? But yeah, regardless of kind of my meh feelings on it, I am still really glad to have this as a part of my collection. I really love the box, honestly. It's really cute and colorful. Now that we've gotten some of the older news out of the way, we have a whole stack of brand new games. You can almost maybe hear the crinkling of the packaging on the outside. So I'm gonna do these next two together because I bought them at the same time, and I think some people who have watched my videos before will be pretty happy with it. I talked about in my Harvest Moon tier list video that I had never played Rune Factory before, and I had asked people, you know, what are the best ones to start with? What ones do you recommend? And turns out back in like, oh gosh, I don't even know, maybe February or March or something, somewhere around that time, Xseed was having a big sale on their website. And I was so excited. Everything was like 20 bucks. It was awesome. It was so nice. So I decided to treat myself a little bit. So I ended up picking up Rune Factory 3 Special, and Rune Factory 4 Special. I couldn't really decide which one of these two to start, but based on the comments that most people had given me, it was between 3 and 4. And since they both have special versions on the Switch, I figured I'd grab these, especially because Rune Factory 4 Special, I couldn't find for a really long time. It just, I tried to get it for my mom a few years ago because I thought that maybe she would like it, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. So I was really happy that this one was in stock, especially because I think more people were saying that 4 is great, like the best, and then that 3 is very close. I think some of the other things I've heard is like, you want to play 3 first so you can fully appreciate 4. So I was like, well, they're $20, so I'm going to get both of them. So I have not broken into either of these yet. I'm waiting until I officially finish Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. I'm very close. It's weird to say finish a farming sim, but with A Wonderful Life, because there is a definitive end, I kind of want to finish that a little bit more first. I also started playing another game in this pile recently that is just, in my opinion, maybe a little too similar to Rune Factory right now, so I'm waiting a little bit. But I do think I'm going to start with 3. I swapped hands. I think I'm going to start with 3. Go with the recommendation that everybody's been giving me of start with 3 and then do 4 and then maybe get 5 at some point in time if I really find myself enjoying the series. But yeah, I'm really excited to have both of these in my collection now. But that wasn't all I bought from the Xseed sale because, as I said, games were $20. There were a few like special editions that they had for $20 too that I was very tempted, but the games themselves I wasn't too interested in. But this was a game that I have been waiting for a very long time. Just waiting for the right moment to buy this one because I'm skeptical. But I've mentioned before, I really want to have a full Story of Seasons Harvest Moon collection at some point in time, and that wouldn't be complete without getting Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town. Yes, I didn't pick this one up when it first came out. As I said, was very skeptical. From what I've seen of Olive Town, it's like really hit or miss a lot of the time. Like performance-wise, it's not great. Story-wise, it's pretty boring. The characters are cute. They're really cute, but they got rid of character portraits, which just was ridiculous. And that just makes me sad. I know like that's a minor thing, but to me, it's like that's how I fully visualize the characters in farming sims, especially when there's like the dating element a part of it. So that was always weird. But I've heard since the DLC came out, this game got a lot better. What I can't remember off the top of my head if the DLC for Pioneers of Olive Town is paid or if it's like a free update kind of situation. I don't really know. So that'll be interesting to find out. Same deal, I'm not too worried about starting this one anytime soon. I'm just really happy I have it and that the price was right. For a long time I was waiting to see if I could get the special edition of it, but a lot of them were really expensive and the boxes were not in the best condition. The only reason I really wanted it was so I could have like the little plushie to add to the rest of my Story of Seasons plushies, but it wasn't gonna be worth it for like $50-$60 for a damaged box and an opened game. So I decided $20 for a brand new copy of it. That works. Maybe I'll pick up the little like bull plush on its own at some point in time. But yeah, so really happy to add this into my collection as well. Here's another game I got on sale for a very good price. As I said, I loved Unicorn Overlord. I'm super interested in trying out Vanillaware's other titles, and as many of you know, there's 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim on the Switch. And so I picked it up on sale from Video Games Plus. For me, and with like the conversion rate from Canadian to American dollars, I think I paid like maybe $24 for this game, which is awesome because I am worried that this game is going to be hard to find physically after a while. So the fact that I was able to get it for so cheap was so nice. And I am so excited to get to this one. I really feel like this might be one of the next ones I begin, maybe like a fun sci-fi RPG kind of situation. I'm just so interested as to what this game has to offer because I've heard nothing but awesome things about it and the story and the characters, and I really want to know why. And again, I loved Unicorn Overlord, so I really think I'm gonna have a great time with this one as well. So we'll see, but I was really happy to pick this one up so cheap. And I actually would not have gotten that one if I didn't get the next 3 Switch games, and the last 3 Switch games from Video Games Plus as well. So a little while back, Video Games Plus announced that they were doing a reprint of the Atelier Ryza series. And this is a game series that many of my friends here on YouTube have been telling me to try, have been recommending to everybody, and I had never really heard of the series until I started doing YouTube things. So I figured, let's give it a shot. But they were doing a bundle where you could just buy all 3 of the games rather than just buying the first one. And knowing how hard these games are to find, I did it. I got all 3 of the Ryza games. First, Atelier Ryza, the Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout. These have really long titles, so I might butcher them. This game I actually just started a few days ago, and it's pretty cute. I feel like I haven't fully grasped the concept of it quite yet. Like, I'm getting used to the alchemy, getting used to the combat, which I really enjoy the combat, but it hasn't dug its claws in quite yet. So I'm hoping to spend some quality time with it this weekend and see, like, you know, what the appeal is. Why does everybody love this series so gosh darn much? And then, of course, Atelier Ryza 2, Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. Still sealed, of course, because I have to beat the first one. And finally, Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key. I know nothing about these games other than that so many people I know say that they're good. So I'm really excited to get farther into them. Again, the first one has been pretty cute so far, very enjoyable, but it just hasn't grabbed me yet. And I really hope that it does, because I spent a lot of money on these 3 games and I want to be able to enjoy them, so I hope I can. But that's it for all the Switch games, so let's get into some Steam games I picked up, and I only picked up 3 recently. The first of which I've already talked about on the channel in an extensive first impressions video, and that is Snacko. The creators of Snacko were generous enough to send me a key, so that way I can make some, like, early content about it, and I still love that game. It's so cute. For those who don't know what Snacko is, it's a very cute cat farming sim game. You are your own cat OC on Snacko Island, and you're trying to kind of rebuild the town. It's really cute, because it's one of those farming sims where you have your traditional farming elements, but there's also a very obvious objective at hand. I mentioned this in my first impressions video, but it really reminds me of the type of Harvest Moon game that I super duper love. It was a very nostalgic feeling for a new game that I haven't gotten in a really long time, so I'm really excited to keep diving into this one, especially because Snacko is still in early access, so I'm really excited to see what the devs will do with it as time goes on. So that, I'm really excited to keep getting into that one. And that wasn't the only cat-related game I bought. I also bought the Smash release hit of recent times, Little Kitty Big City. I have not played this one yet. I actually just bought it this morning because after I filmed this video, I'm gonna stream on Twitch, and that's what we're playing today, so I'm really excited. But I'm a sucker for any game that has a black cat in it because, you know, I have a black cat. I love cats in general, and this game, ever since they first announced it, has just seemed so adorable to me. It's an adventure game where you are a little kitty who is lost in the big city and you have to kind of find your way home. From what I've heard, it's like a combination of Stray and Untitled Goose Game, so I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what that is. Apparently there's lots of shenanigans you can get into, and yeah, I am so excited to get into this game. Lastly, on Steam, this was a really surprising one because I did not expect to buy this, and again, I bought this morning, and that is Spiritfarer, the Farewell Edition. It was on sale for $7. I have been wanting to play Spiritfarer for forever. I've heard nothing but phenomenal and like heart-warming things about it, and I've wanted to experience it so badly, but it's been like, oh, the price point hasn't been there, or I just haven't been feeling it. But today, when I was looking through my wish list, trying to find Little Kitty Big City, because I like to, you know, go through the whole list, see what's on sale, all that stuff, I saw that it was on sale for $7, and I was like, I gotta do it. I'm just pulling the trigger now. It's totally worth it. This is awesome. So I picked that up, so I'm so excited to get into that. That's another game where I've really tried to stay away from a lot of the big story-hitting moments, though I've heard the story is phenomenal and just heart-wrenching, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to cry, because I think I probably will cry, so I'm very excited. So not too many games for Steam, but I'm sure over the summer there's going to be a lot of other indie games coming out, And with the Wholesome Direct next week, I think, by the time this video comes out, maybe, or this coming Saturday, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of other cute, wholesome games either coming out or being announced, so I have plenty of indie games to be looking forward to in the near future. Next, I want to get into some 3DS titles that I've picked up over the last little bit, which there's way more here than I expected there to be. I wasn't really looking for any 3DS games in the past little bit, except for when I went to the game show, but a lot of these just kind of fell into my lap with really great circumstances, so I'm really, really happy to show them off. The first one I just bought at a game store, and that is Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. I didn't have this for the 3DS originally, but I was really, really happy to pick this one up. This was another one where I was kind of like, maybe I'm gonna, like, wait it out and see if I can get one with the Amiibo cards, but we went to one of the game stores kind of in our area, and it was just such a good price for such a clean copy. And usually when I see Happy Home Designer, a lot of the time they're really crusty. They're really, really, really crusty. So I was really happy to get such a clean copy of it for like 10 bucks. Like, I was really, really, really happy with this one. So I had to add it to the collection. It was one of the only Animal Crossing games that I was missing, and I really like the Happy Home Paradise DLC for New Horizons. And while I've heard this one isn't as, like, great, I don't think, especially because of the relationship between New Horizons and Happy Home Paradise kind of like feeding into one another, whereas this is just a standalone game. Still, I'm happy to have it. Next is another 3DS game that I never owned for the system, and it won't really do much for me right now, but it's still a game I wanted regardless, because I want to make sure I have every game in this series regardless of the console. And that is Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS. I never had the 3DS version. I have the Wii U version, but I just never picked up the 3DS version at all. One of my very dear friends was selling off some of his collection in order to just get a little bit of extra money for bills and stuff, and I wanted to take a few games off of his hand just in case he ever wanted to buy some of these back, so that way, you know, he knew where they were at. But Smash for 3DS, he was selling it for pretty cheap, and I was like, again, same deal, clean copy, I trust where it came from 100%, and it was pretty cheap. So I did end up adding this one to my collection. There are a lot of 3DS games, like standard 3DS games like this, that I'm missing, like Mario Kart 7. I don't have Mario Kart 7, and I really want to add them to my collection, even though half of the fun was playing online, and now we can't do that. I want to make sure I have them because they're staples for that console, right? So if I can find them for a good price, like how I did for Smash 3DS, then I think I'm probably gonna go for that at some point in time. These next three were completely unexpected, but my friend from work ended up bringing some games in because he knew I'm always in the market for buying games, and he was trying to get rid of some, so I ended up buying 4 games from him, and there's some bangers. There's some bangers. The first 2 are less exciting, but the very last one is pretty great. The very last one's very great. But first we have Ultimate NES Remix. Now it's interesting because I bought this from him like the day after the Nintendo World Championship thing for Switch got announced, which I did pre-order, so I am gonna get that at some point in time too. But I thought that was really funny because I was thinking about this game and I was like, what's gonna be the difference between NES Remix versus Nintendo World Championships? So I'll be interested when that game comes out to see exactly what the differences are. I have like the demo, or maybe I have the full game on Wii U, but I never had the 3DS one, so this is just a cool one to add to the collection. It's not something I was necessarily looking for, but I'm happy to have it regardless. And the same thing goes for Tetris Axis. This is just another one where I always saw it at like Best Buy, and I was like, oh, I love Tetris, but just never bought it. Because I was probably playing Tetris on my phone or just on my Game Boy, so I don't know, but there's the Nintendo 3DS takes Tetris to a whole new dimension. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what exactly Tetris Axis does differently. There are always fun random versions of Tetris out there, so I'm happy to have one for the 3DS. Again, big Tetris fan. Was not planning to ever buy this, but I'm happy to have it regardless. And now, the one that I literally saw and freaked out over quite a bit, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor Overclock! I've heard great things about the Devil Survivor series. I've heard great things about this specific version of this game. And normally I see this one and I always think about picking it up at a game store, and it's usually like $50 or so. But I can never get myself to do it because as much as I want to experience these games and I want to get these games before they go too expensive, I haven't played an SMT game yet. So I was like, I don't know. But when he brought this out and was like, yeah, those two games, this and the other game I'll show once we get to the DS games, like for $80, I was like, yes, yes. For all of this, I will take it. I will absolutely take it because, yeah, I was pretty happy about this. And again, like, it feels good to buy from people you know sometimes too, so it's cool. So I'm really happy to have this. I don't know what I'm gonna get to this. I think I still want to maybe try to play SMT5 first on Switch before I get into the Devil Survivor series, but I'm not totally sure. Maybe I'll start with this one. I don't know, but I'm really excited to have this as a part of my collection. It's a game that, again, I never thought that I would really pick up. It's a game I wanted, but I just wasn't sure if I was ever gonna grab it. So I'm really happy to have it in the collection now. Now, only 2 DS games. I bought a few DS games at the Detroit Retro Game Show, so it makes sense that this aspect of the DS games is lacking a little bit. But the other game I picked up for my work friend is Dragon Quest IX: Sentinels of the Starry Skies. Another really cool game that I've wanted for a long time, thought about picking up, never did, so this was the perfect opportunity to do so, and I am really excited. I know almost nothing about Dragon Quest IX other than that people enjoyed it, people had a good time with it. I think you can play with other people online to complete dungeons. Well, you used to be able to complete dungeons with people online. You can't do that anymore. But still, it's a game that I want to get as many Dragon Quest games as I possibly can as well, and it wouldn't be complete without this one in the collection as well. So I'm really happy to have this. I like the fact that you can like customize your hero and stuff. I think that's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this one's all about at some point in time. And then the final DS game is a classic and another addition to the Harvest Moon Story of Seasons collection, Harvest Moon DS. So I have DS Cute, that's the copy I grew up with, but I never had this version. And it seems kind of redundant to get this, but at the same time, I want all of the games. And actually, in this one specifically, it was a really clean copy, so there was that. But in this copy specifically, there was one thing that made me get it. And the reason is, it's something I love about looking through old game cases and just seeing what other relics other than a manual might be there. But so when I took this one off the shelf, I wanted to see if it had the manual, awesome. And then I noticed this little piece of paper behind it with the link to fogu.com to look up Muffy on it. And then on the back it says, I want to finish looking at rival weddings. I'm on the last one. Carter, heart. And I just love that so much. I think that's great. I'm dropping it all over the place, but I think that's so great. I just love when there are like little relics like this in game cases. I think that's so funny because I'm sure I had some as well. Like I definitely put notes in like GameCube cases and stuff. But I just thought it was so funny. So that made me seal the deal. I was like, I can't leave behind this note. I can't leave behind this person who wants to marry Muffy. I can't do it. So I decided to take this copy home with me. And again, it's a beautiful copy of Harvest Moon DS. Barely any scratches, super duper clean. It was a steal. Same deal, super cheap in comparison to what I was expecting. We got it from a game store that I go to pretty often. That's pretty good with deals, so I was very happy with this. Now we have 2 additions to my GameCube collection. GameCube is not a system I'm actively collecting for right now just because of how expensive so many of the titles are. It's at the point where there are some that I'm just gonna have to suck it up and emulate, but you know, there are also a few that I really want to add physically to my collection over time as well. So these 2 I both bought from my friend who is looking to sell parts of his collection, and both of these are pretty special to me. So the very first one that I got, for those who might know, I am a big fan of the Donkey Kong games, but I did not have this game that you can also use the DK bongos for, and that is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Now, this is a special game for me because the same friend that I bought this from, him and I had a competition on Twitch about this game, and we wanted to see who could beat this game fast enough. We both had DK bongos. The problem is I didn't own this game. I didn't own this game, so I had to use other means to play this game, but it kept crashing, and I also had never played this game before, so he beat me by like several hours. I don't actually even know if I beat the game or if I gave up. I don't remember. Regardless, I got my butt kicked. So I was like, I need to save this game. I need to get this game. I need to have it so that way I can actually own it and play it for real. So I picked this one up and I'm really, really, really happy to have it. It's a very interesting and strange game. Like, I love the idea that they decided, you know, rhythm games are great, but yet let's use the DK bongos as a real controller and make a platformer out of it. Like, absolutely. So very happy to have this, of course. Now, this final game is a GameCube game that I never thought I was going to own. In fact, at the Detroit Retro Game Show, I saw a copy of this game for like $240, and I was like, man, I was talking to the vendors, I think. I was like, man, I really wish that maybe someday we'll get a remake of this game. I don't think it's gonna happen. And they were like, yeah, it's probably only gonna get more expensive from here. And every time I've seen this game, it's been scratched to hell. I couldn't do it. It was never gonna be a game I was gonna pull the trigger on. But again, given my friend's situation, knowing how much this game means to him, and how much I have always wanted this game, I decided, you know, I'm gonna treat myself. And that is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So, this is crazy! I never thought I was going to ever own this game ever. But it's a pretty clean copy, honestly. There's some, like, scratches up here a little bit, but the actual, like, cover underneath is gorgeous. It's gorgeous and holographic and beautiful. And also, I just have a freaking copy of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. He was really fair on the price with me for this too. It was like $217, which I have never spent that much on a single video game in my entire life. I bought like the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition, and that was splurging for me. Buying the Ryza games plus like 13 Sentinels, which was still under $200, especially after conversion rates, was splurging for me. Never ever once have I spent anywhere near that on a single video game. But again, I've been very fortunate in recent time with work and lessons and stuff, and I wouldn't have rather bought it from anyone else other than my friend who I trust, you know? Like, especially spending that much money. I don't think I'm ever gonna spend that much money on a game ever again. I don't know if I could. I mean, I want to get Pokemon Coliseum as well because I don't have Coliseum, but thankfully that one's not as expensive as XD Gale of Darkness, but like, that might be the only game that ever comes close. I don't think I could ever spend $200 on a used game like this ever again. If it ever happens where this game goes down in value, I might be a little bummed out, I'll be honest. However, I am still very, very, very happy to have this as a part of my collection. Again, this is like a GameCube Grail for me. I never thought I was going to have this ever. Ever. So it's crazy. I look at it on my shelf every day and I'm like, who put that there? I don't own that. So yeah, I am so grateful to have this as a part of my collection. So yeah, it's crazy. I am also planning on streaming this at some point in time, so keep an eye out on my Twitch for Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness if that's something that interests you. And there we have it. That is my entire haul from like January to now. There's actually gonna be another Switch game in this haul. However, it didn't get here in time today, so we'll just push it off until I do the next one, which won't be for a while. After this madness and the Detroit Retro Game Show madness of all the games I bought from that, I'm gonna slow down for a little bit. Thankfully, there's not too many new games coming out that I super duper want. As I said, I did get the Nintendo World Championships thing, which that'll get here when it gets here. But other than that, there's not a ton coming out, especially for Switch really, that I want. So if anything, there might be a few random pickups here and there, but I probably am not gonna do another haul video until like the end of the summer. And even then, I don't think it's going to be as crazy as this. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe consider giving it a carpal tunnel thumbs up, or maybe preferably not a carpal tunnel thumbs up. I hope your wrists are okay. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, maybe consider subscribing. We do video game collection haul videos. We do little mini reviews whenever I finish games. I talk about random video game stuff. What have you? I don't know what we do here. And also, let me know what your most recent game pickup was. Was it a Switch game? Was it a retro game? I'd love to know what you are currently out there hunting for. And yeah. But anyways, everybody, that's gonna do it for me. I shall see you in the next video. I don't know why I did that. That kind of hurt. Goodbye!